Hello and welcome to solving a formula for a specific variable with fractions. So here essentially you have an equation with a fraction or a rational equation, but it has more than one letter inside of it, and we are asked to get one of the letters, the r in this case, by itself. Anytime you're solving a rational equation, your first goal is to remove fractions. We want to clear the fractions, get rid of the denominators, and for that, we will need the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator for this equation is capital R plus lowercase r, simply because it's the only denominator. So what we'll do with it, with the r plus r, we will multiply the left side, which is I, by r plus r, and the right side by r plus r. This causes the r plus r on the right side to cancel, leaving you with just a v, and on the left side you have your I capital R plus I lowercase r, because we distributed the I inside of this set of parentheses. So what we're trying to do ultimately is to get this lowercase r by itself, and to do that I need to move two things to the right side where your v currently is. And the first thing is capital I with the capital R. So that goes here. And because it was positive on the left side, it was added to our r. On the other side, it will be subtracted. Now, on the left side, all I have is IR, and on the right side, I have V minus I capital R. I still want my little r by itself, and to get that, I will need the I removed. And to remove the I will do the opposite of however it's attached to my r, which is multiplication, so I will be dividing. This will cancel the i's next to the little r, leaving me with lowercase r equals v minus I r all over I, and this is our answer. Our r is by itself. Let's look at the second example. So in the second example, you have a equals h plus b all over 2, and we are asked to solve for h. Again, I will be clearing the fractions first. I need the LCD. The LCD for this fraction is the only denominator that I see, which is a 2. I will use it to multiply the left by 2 and the right by 2. It cancels the 2's and leaves me with 2a on the left and h plus b on the right. 2a and then h plus b. I still want my h by itself, so I need the b to go to the left. B is added to h, so on the left I will be subtracting it. So on the left I now have 2a minus b, and on the right I have my h. And now we're done. H is 2a minus b. Let's look at the next example. So here's problem number 3. You have 2a over b equals h, and I'm asked to solve for b. So I want the b to be by itself at the end. Again, since it has fractions, I want to clear them by multiplying by the LCD. The LCD here is the only denominator that I see, and that's a b. So I'll multiply the left side by b and the right side by b, which cancels the b's on the left. And I am now left with 2a on the left and hb on the right. Keep in mind, I want the b to be by itself, so I want the h to go. H is attached to b by multiplication, so I'll remove it by division. It cancels the h's next to the b, which now b is by itself, and then 2a over h is your answer. Here is the last example, number 4. 1 over r equals 1 over x plus 1 over y, and I'm asked to solve for x. I need to clear the fractions first, which requires me to find the LCD. The LCD here will consist of the r, the x, and the y. So every single fraction on the left and on the right will be multiplied by this rxy. With the first fractions, I will cancel the r's. With the second fraction, I will cancel the x's. With the last fraction, I will cancel the y's. So for the first fraction here, I will have 1 times x times y left, which is xy. then my equal sign. For the second fraction, I will have 1 times r times y left, and that is ry. For the last fraction, I have 1 times r times x left, which is plus rx. We need to solve for x, and I currently see two terms that contain an x. I want them to be on one side, so I eventually can get 1x out of both of them. So my xy is on the left. It has an x that I'm solving for. And my rx here is on the right. So I will first take this rx and move it to the left, so it joins the other term with an x. It's being added on the right, so on the left I will be subtracting it. So on the left I now have xy minus rx equals, and on the right the only thing I have left is the ry. Now the two terms that I have on the left each has an x. So what I'll do is I'll factor that x out. It's the GCF for this little binomial. X goes outside of the parentheses, and then inside of the parentheses I will have the y minus r left. So now I have a single x instead of two separate x's, and all I need to do is move this set of parentheses away from the x. Now this set of parentheses is multiplying my x, so move it to the other side, I will be dividing by it. Both sides are divided by y minus r, which cancels it here on the left, and that leaves me with x equals ry over y minus r. And this is your answer.